Hello everybody and welcome to Cities Skylines 2, where we are going to be building out a brand new city. I'm super excited about this. I hope you guys are too. I have chosen the map Tampere, and this is actually where Colossal Order is established. And the reason I chose this map is because it has a good mix of waterways. It has a lot of open space, which I really like, especially in Cities Skylines 2. We'll kind of touch on a lot of the differences in this game, but one of them is, it's a lot slower versus Cities Skylines 1 in terms of growth. It almost feels like it has the realistic population mod, which I do really like. It definitely lends itself to more realistic cities. We're going to be starting off with this square. The goal is to have this city develop as a real city would, and so this is actually going to become our downtown. And so we're going to start off the city, we're going to grow out this way, probably around this way, and then we are going to eventually redevelop this area into a high density area. Because one of the things I found in my test cities is that, you can't just spam a bunch of high density like you could in CS1 and have it all grow out. You do have a bunch of different demand levels now, and it's really cool. It definitely makes you pay a lot more attention to the city than in CS1. CS1, you could kind of just go on autopilot, with the exception of traffic. You could really just build a big city pretty quickly. And in this one, it definitely is a little bit slower, which is cool. It requires you to pay attention more. You have choices now with the development points and everything. And so let's go ahead and jump right in. The first thing I'm going to do, I really want to do a couplet in here. I really want to utilize this road as well. So what we're going to do, we are going to bring this out. We're going to come out probably about right here. And then I'm going to go ahead and go down to continuous. I'm going to turn it and I'm going to come up this way now. And the reason we're doing this is because I really want this road to kind of follow this rail line right here. This is going to be one of our main arterials. And so now we are going to go into a 3-lane one-way road. We're going to go ahead and hit that parallel tool, and I'm going to bump it up to 6. And actually, let's back up a bit. So I want this to be parallel with the edge of the map. So what we're going to do, we're going to cheat a little bit. We're going to come out here. We're going to go, it looks like we're pretty close to parallel with that right now. And we're going to go ahead and go this way. The reason I'm doing this is because I want to be parallel with the square. I don't really want to be parallel with this road. So now what we're going to do is go back there, go back to our lovely parallel tool. We're going to come all the way down and we're going to go right about there. And then we're going to go ahead and do the same thing on this side. We're going to come all the way up. We want to make sure that we maintain that 90-degree angle off of that road. Let's go ahead and go just above the highway. Yeah, we'll go like that. I really like there's an underground highway here. They did stay true to the real city in a lot of ways. And I am using the city of Tampere for a little bit of inspiration for this. This couplet is something that's in the city. And then what happens is it kind of dumps into an arterial over here. So we are going to kind of copy that. And then they do use a grid pattern for their downtown as well. But I'm going to routinely be looking at the real city to kind of see hey, can I get some inspiration? But I am in no way trying to model after that city. I'm not really a big modeler. I'm somebody who really likes to just kind of build off of my own imagination and have fun from it. And so now that we have that, you're going to kind of see I'm doing grids that are working off of the perfect 10 by 10 square. And what I'm thinking is we're going to come back through and do pathways in the middle. I really want to prioritize walking as much as possible. And that's one of the ways that you can kind of cut back on traffic. If you plan your cities with walking in mind, what happens is more people will walk. We do have a little bit of a hill over here, and it's kind of interesting. In one of my test builds, I had decided to do homes up it, and it was actually kind of cool. I did some pathways that were curved, and it looked kind of cool. I don't think it was super realistic. We may end up developing this at some point in the future, but I think for right now, what we're going to do is kind of leave it as an open space. I do want to do our university over here, and maybe even as we add in some more DLCs, like a waterfront or something like that. But I think for right now, we're just going to keep this here. If you guys have any suggestions though, if you do want to see some crazy hillside build, go ahead and let me know. Yeah, I think that looks pretty good right there. And so now what I'm thinking is we're going to go ahead and dump into this alleyway, and I want to create a couple connections in here. First off, let's actually create a connection coming all the way down. We want to provide some access in here. And if we funnel everybody into these roads, it's going to be a problem. And then I think for our little crossover roads, what we're going to do is we're going to skip one every other one. So I want to go right here, come across, perfect, skip, one right there, skip, come across, connect this up, perfect, and then we'll end up making another connection up there. Let's actually do another one down here real quick. Nice. And so now we will go into that alleyway, and I want to create a couple connections in here. We don't want to get crazy with this. Ideally, what this is for is just to provide local traffic an alternative route. So say if somebody's just going to a shopping center nearby, they wouldn't have to jump onto the main road. They could just use this little side road, which is going to provide them a much easier way of getting around. And so now let's go ahead and create one over here too. We do have this main road over here, so we definitely want to be mindful of that. We don't want to create too many connections, because if you have all these, you know, 3-ways or 4-way intersections, that's really how you start to get a ton of traffic, which could be really bad. So let's go ahead and connect these up now, and we want that to stay at a 90-degree angle at the bottom. And it looks like it's going to give me some trouble, so we'll go like that. Perfect. Let's go ahead and connect this up, and we want to stay 180 off of that. And then let's curve this down. Let's go ahead and go like this, and then we'll turn it in. I think this looks pretty good. And then what we can do is kind of leave this space open for maybe like a future development or something like that. I think that could be interesting. So let's connect this up now. We want to stay at that 180, and then let's have our big road come down, and then now we can kind of curve this around and have it continue on. I think that would be good. And you know what? I'm actually looking at this road. I think we'll actually turn this into a bigger road. So let's upgrade this. We're going to turn off snapping so we can get in that middle. We're going to come all the way down, and let's try our best to get it in the middle. And then that way, what we can do, I was kind of looking at this. I was like, man, it would be good if we could get a bigger road down here. So if we went this way, let's go ahead and follow the coast a little bit. Yeah, and then that way we can kind of curve this around. I think this will be good. Fantastic. Yeah, we'll go just like that. And then that way there'll be a way kind of around for people as well, which is cool. And so we are going to also turn this into an elevated road. But I think for right now, let's go back to those alleyways. I kind of, you know, neglected them for a second. I want to come up here, and we're going to try to follow our little pattern down there. So we're going to go like this. We're going to follow this one up. We're going to connect it right there. And then let's go ahead and follow this one up now. Go like right here. I love that those guidelines follow this far. That was one of the things in CS1 that it just wouldn't do. It was too far. I really like that they made that accomplishable. And so now let's come down. We're going to grab a regular road. We're going to come up like right here. Let's follow that 90 off of there. I know we're not perfect with the other roads, but we'll go just like this. And then that way what we can do is actually dump this one straight. And then what we'll do is actually have this road come straight. And then what I'm thinking is we will actually upgrade these to 1-ways. So we'll go just like this. We'll have this little 1-way come in here, and we could actually probably just have that curve. Let's see if we can do that now that we got some of the new road tools. Yeah, you know, that looks pretty good. And then that way what we'll do is once we get our, of course it created a different intersection. I'm going to go ahead and redraw this in real quick. All right, so after a little bit of playing around, I was able to get it, and it was kind of funny. I had to delete this road, and then the trick is you can kind of see now you can choose the lanes for this. So all I did was came from the other direction, went into continuous, and then I was able to kind of arch it around. And so once we get our road service tools, we'll be able to come in here and actually ban the left turn, because I do not want people to be coming in here and doing a loop around. That's going to create some unnecessary traffic. We want these people to come forward, and literally the only reason I kept 2 lanes is because I do want to provide people a way to turn left here and a way to turn right. So those will be dedicated lanes. And then for this, I want to provide people that right turn lane so that they can have that continue on. And then I want to provide that left turn lane as well so that they're not impeding each other. And so this would be, you know, dedicated. This right turn lane would actually probably be protected. And then the people coming from this direction or the left turn would actually be this left lane in here. And so that's just one of the ways that you could ideally cut down on traffic, which is good. But I think that's a really good intersection. I think we have a pretty good little starting area for right now. We don't really have any crossover roads over here. Let's see if maybe we can connect this up real quick. Yeah, I think that looks pretty good. And we don't need that to be a 1-way, so I'm going to go ahead and upgrade that. Perfect. And I think we look pretty good for now. We do need to give this a little loop around, otherwise we're just going to have those these warnings there, and I really would rather not have that. Perfect. And we're going to leave this one empty for now because we are going to do an elevated road. And so it looks like we need to actually flip that around. That'd be kind of bad, you know, if you're coming down here and all of a sudden it's like you're going the wrong way. People probably would they would get upset. So now I want to come down here and we're going to do our elevated road. So we're going to come up, we're going to use our full step. We're come out like right here. We're going to go like right there. And then I want to come all the way down, and I would prefer this to be perpendicular with that. Yeah, we're going to go just like this. And then we're going to stay on continuous. That went a little bit too far. We're going to begin to curve this now. And one of the things that the real Tampere has that I do want to kind of be faithful to is a big rail yard right here. I think it's an awesome location for it with all these rail lines. So we're going to end up doing a big rail yard right here, which I think would be really fun. And then we're actually going to keep this as an elevated road as well. It does look like it kind of dips down a little bit there, but it didn't end up touching the ground, which is cool. So now we're going to go ahead and trim this back just a smidge. we're going to go back into that one-way road. And what we're going to do is we're going to come out here, and you can kind of see, like what I was saying before, you can choose the lanes that you want it to go on. So we're going to come out here, and then we're going to begin to curve it in. So we want to go like right there. And it does look like we've got a little bit of an etch in there. I think that's kind of frustrating. I may come back and fix that. So now we're going to go do the same thing on this side. We're going to come in and we're going to try to curve it in so that it's flat. Perfect. Let's go ahead and trim that. Yeah, that looks, I mean, pretty good. It does look like it may be a little too accentuated for our needs, but I think we'll kind of figure it out. Let's turn off snapping. So we will bring this back, and then you can kind of adjust how you want this to work. Yeah, that looks good. Perfect. And then we'll again come in here once we unlock those road services and ban this left turn, because we do not want people to be flipping around right here. That is just terrible. And then I do want to come back through here and kind of clean this up. I don't know if I'm going to do that right now. My perfectionist mind is like looking at that curve, like that's not curved. That's a little too sharp. But I think for right now, it looks good. I like this intersection. I think it looks fantastic. I like that we got this little elevated road. I think it's going to really lend itself to an awesome connection in there. I could have this road kind of come up and connect. I don't really want to provide that traffic though. I'd prefer people to come down here and kind of utilize this connection. Otherwise, we're just going to be creating a little too many points. So now that we got that, what we need to do is come over here and build out our industry area. So what I want to do, we're going to come out here and we need to do a little bit of a bridge. And I'm actually going to bring this down a step because we don't need it to be that big of a bridge. So we'll come down. Let's go ahead. Come on, you can do it. Go like this, bring it down now. And one of the cool things that I'm kind of thinking about for this, I'm looking at our highway right here. I think we're going to actually end up trimming this back because I think this would work a little bit better as an arterial, and then actually turning this into a four-way junction with this junction. So have this freeway kind of cut through and connect up to here rather than having this kind of like a couplet pretty much coming off of the freeway. I would prefer it to just be, you know, a 4-lane road or even a 6-lane road. But for right now, we'll go ahead and keep it what it is. I don't really want to mess around with that because we haven't unlocked the highway system yet. And so now let's come across here, go like this. Let's go ahead and come across here as well. And I do want to kind of preserve this right here. This is like some sort of historical castle. And so I don't think that we're going to mess with that. I want to believe that maybe in the future, there'll be some sort of DLC where we can do like a big park or something like that, or maybe even some sort of conservation area. And so I think we will end up keeping that. But I think this looks pretty good. So we got our little industrial area over here. And the reason I chose that location is because of air pollution. So if you come in here, you can see those arrows. I really don't want the air pollution blowing towards residential. I think that would be bad. And it would ideally, you know, have an impact on land values. And so what I'm going to do now, we need to worry about electricity and we need to worry about water and sewage. So I do want to do some wind turbines. We're going to come in here. Let's go ahead and go like right there. And then I want to have one right next to it. We kind of want to have it lined up too, just so that it looks a little bit better. If we go like that, and then let's do a little dirt road coming off of this, because I want it to be kind of like right on these, as close as we can get it, just like that. Perfect. And we'll probably even upgrade a little section of this to allow some industry in there. But then I want to come in and do a transformer. We're going to do a transformer right in the middle, and we do need to connect up these windmills now. So we're going to come in here, we're going to hit that page down button so that it's an underground line. We need to do the same thing over here, hit that page down, connect that up, fantastic. And then we do need to connect up our transformer to our outside connection. So we'll go like that, and I did the underground lines because I really don't want to have these kind of above ground lines just wrapping around and taking up space. But they do have a place. I mean, these transmission lines do still look cool, and they tend to look a little bit more industrious. But now that we have that, so we have power, we need to worry about water. So if we do a water tower, if we look at this cost, so this is $30,000 a month at 30,000 square meters of water. This is $10,000 a month for 100,000 square meters, which is quite a bit of water. And then this is $20,000 a month at 75,000 square. So it looks like the $10,000 a month is definitely going to be our best bet. So what I'm thinking, if we go in here, let's look at our waterways first. So if we do, I think it's a sewage one, it kind of, oh, you got to unpause it for a second. So we unpaused it, we can now see where our water is flowing. So you can kind of see our water's flowing down here and then going out here. So if we do the water pumping, we would want it to be up here, and we would want the sewage to be down here. So let's grab this water pumping station. Let's go ahead and go like right here. And look at that, milestone 1 unlocked. We're a tiny village now without any residents. That is just miraculous. So congratulations, your efforts are bearing fruit and your city has taken its first steps towards success. Thank you, game. That's very encouraging. We now have 600,000 simoleons. We have 1 development point and we have 3 expansion points. I forgot what these are called. But we can go into the progression panel and kind of see what we unlocked. So we got our row housing and we got our North American row housing as well. So we have some medium density, which is awesome. We've unlocked city statistics, a lot more 4-lane roads. Ooh, we've got our healthcare and our garbage. So we actually get to place that down before we even build out anything, which is awesome. So we got our water pump in there. We do need to connect that up with a road. Let's go ahead and connect that up. Fantastic. So now maybe this is like a water and power company. Let's make sure that that connected up over there. Yes, it did. So it's got power and water. And then let's come all the way down here and do our sewage. And I really don't like this location because we're going to end up having sewage literally right off the coast. So like people would be visiting here or something. They're like, oh yeah, look at all this sewage right there. Like that's just so great. So one of the first development points that I do generally try to go for is the water treatment plant because I don't like it. So the goal, our roadmap is advanced road services, water treatment, and probably highways so that we can start working on that, but maybe roundabouts and parking areas too. So those are definitely like my top 5 that I go for generally. So now that we have that, let's place down our medical clinic. And I'm thinking let's do it like right here. So the idea behind this, it's best to have these like a little bit off the main road. You don't want to cause congestion on your main roads from people turning, braking, unless they're at an intersection. So what we do by placing it here is actually provide some nice access. They can come over here, loop around. They have good coverage for the whole city, but then it's not causing any sort of bottlenecks. And then for our cemetery, what I'm thinking is somewhere over here. So if we place this like right here, I think that this would be a fantastic location. Let's jump out of this view and just kind of see what we're looking at. Yeah, so if we place this like right there, and then what we can do, let's level out just a little bit of this terrain because it doesn't look good to have that kind of weird step. I'm not going to have this cliff in there either. That doesn't look much better. We're going to go ahead and soften it out just to make it look a little more natural. But I think that looks pretty good. That's a good location. We got our main road kind of cutting off here. We got a road coming over here that provides some awesome access, and it provides some opportunities for expansion. I really don't think we're going to expand anything over there, but in the event that we do, we have that opportunity. Now we do need to do a landfill as well. And what I'm thinking, I kind of want to do it off of here, but I want to do it with a road first. So if we do just a small alleyway, if we go just like this, I'm looking at this space right here. Maybe, you know what, we could do industrial right there, but because it's the road coming into the city, maybe it's not going to be the best location. So if we check that out, yeah, I mean, if you're coming in the city, you already see these power lines, and then the first thing you see going into the city is like huge, just stacks of smoke. Maybe that's not the best. So we'll do the landfill, and we're going to come up over here. We're going to place it right there, and I want it to come up just close to the road, but we're not going to go all the way to the road. And the reason for that is because I want to do a little bit of a tree barrier. I don't want it to just completely be visible to everybody. I would prefer it to be like a little bit hidden. And there we go. That looks pretty good. And then that way we can do like some spruces around the outside or something just to make it look a little bit better. And voila. So we have our landfill, power, water. And so now what I'm thinking, I'm going to go ahead and do some pathways in here. I'm going to have them cut across. We're literally just going to litter this with paths going all the way through. Okay, and so I think that this looks pretty good. And you can kind of see I definitely added in a lot of pathways in here. Some of them I did add in some crosswalks, but then on the main roads I didn't. And then I also kind of butt this pathway up to the main road here because I don't want any zoning off of that road. And one of the ways that you can limit your zoning, because we don't have a zoning adjuster mod at the moment, or zoning adjuster built into the game, is to just build pathways. So now what we're going to do, we're going to go ahead and start zoning all this out. We're just going to be using the low density housing now. I think we're going to end up doing row housing down here. I really don't want to mix in the high density with the low density, but we are going to be putting in some commercial in here as well. So I do want to have just some pockets of commercial. I want to probably do like right here, right there. Maybe we'll do right here as well. And I'm just going to get this zoning done, and then we'll kind of be able to unpause and see what comes in. All right, so this looks pretty good. And one of the things you'll notice is I did end up leaving a few spaces empty, and this is for future development. So I think we're going to end up doing like some small alleyways in here and creating a little bit of a bigger shopping center for this section. I do want to use this as a school area, and then you always want to kind of leave, or at least I always want to leave areas for your imagination to kind of be like, oh yeah, this would be cool in this area. And so that's kind of the premise for this. And now what we are going to do, this is the moment of truth. We're going to go ahead and hit play, and we're going to bump that 3 up, and we're going to let this city unfold. This is the beginning of chapter 1, and voila. So we've gotten our first signature building. It is the Pop Musician Mansion. And so while we're letting this city unfold, I want everybody to kind of think about what we should name this city. And I want it to be a name of a real city. So anything that this map kind of makes you think of, I want it to be something cool and fun. And so go ahead and let me know in the comments down below. And so now we are just going to watch the city kind of build itself out, and then we will start addressing some of its first problems. All right, so we let the game run for a little bit, and we have our first little houses in here, and we have a couple little shopping malls in here as well. And I think this city is looking really good. I absolutely love the modeling in CS2. I think this is really cool. It looks a lot more real than CS1 did. And the industrial, you definitely have a lot more models than in CS1 as well. You can kind of get rid of these and play around with the different sizes of the grids and really help to shape your city in different directions. So we do have quite a bit of demand for medium density, and what I want to do is come down here, and we are going to kind of build off this road. I want it to come down and actually go underneath if we can get it. Yeah, just like that. We will connect it up, keep it at that 180. Let's go ahead and have this one come across, and we're going to change the directions of the grid now. We're going to come just like this. Perfect. And let's have this go right here, and we'll keep it at a 90. And this one we are not going to connect up. I really don't want to connect up to that road, but I do want to come in here now and draw in this path. We don't want our row houses to come off of these side roads. We want them to come off of this main road. So now that we have that, what we can do is go in here, go to our medium density. Let's go ahead and click them all. And you know what I messed up too? I don't want them to come off of this road either. Yeah, you can kind of see that the grid already changed there, and it's because of the designation for this grid. So we're going to go ahead and keep this area empty. I think we may end up doing some park assets in here, something like that. What we can do though is come over here now to the other side and kind of do the same thing. Let's draw in a road. We're going to have this come all the way down, and this is going to kind of provide some access for this back section. So we'll go just like that, and then let's have this cut across. And then I think what we're going to do is actually have this one curve down to follow this road. So we'll have this curve, and then let's have it go right there and cut down. And this is just to provide a little bit of interest for the area. So we will have this, I want it to go, yeah, just like that. Perfect. And then let's have this one come. One of the things with row housing you really got to pay attention to is they generate a lot more traffic than the low density does. So I think that looks good. Let's put in our paths now so that we can make sure that we get our zoning where we want it to go. We'll go just like that, go just like this, and then let's draw a path right here. And you got to be careful when doing these. You don't want to put that crosswalk right next to your intersection. It's just going to create a ton of issues for you. And so let's have this path cut across now just to provide that much needed access in there. And I'd actually like to get one in here too, even though that's going to kind of mess up some of our zoning. Just going to get rid of some of the backyards. It's really not going to be the end of the world. But it would be something where if I just bought like a new home or something, I'd probably still be pretty upset. So let's come in here now, have this come all the way down, and then let's have it cut across. Really like to be able to, yeah, just go like that. Perfect. And let's have this come down too. We'll probably put some trees in here just to make it look a little bit better. I'm thinking some parks back here as well. I think that would look pretty good. So now let's do some row housing right there. Let's go ahead and unpause so this can start growing in. We can readjust to our demand. We don't want to get too crazy with it just yet. We still want to be mindful of the city as we grow. So we do want this to kind of follow the road now. We are starting to go up on that hill, so we need to be careful of that because I don't want it to get too crazy with it. So let's do that, and then let's have this cut across as well. Connect up. Perfect. Let's adjust our pathways. And then we can do a little bit more row housing in here. And the whole point of this is to create a section back here that I think is ideally going to look a little bit better. So let's maybe, because this isn't growing in this commercial right here, we could get rid of that and do some more low density housing. Kind of, you know, I don't really want, I would like to keep that because there's not a lot of commercial back here, but we do have some opportunities back here if we do some more pathways. So let's go into continuous and kind of wrap this around to follow the road so that we can get the zoning off of this back section. Yeah, so if we bring this up, go just like that, perfect. Now let's go back in here and reslot these in. Fantastic. Now we can keep that unpaused. I think this is looking pretty good. So I did end up extending this out a little bit. We do have like this old kind of mill here. I was wondering if we could maybe do something with this. But look at that. We hit milestone 2, a small village already. Congratulations. You are moving ahead very nicely. Thank you so much, game. We got 700,000 simoleons. We have 2 development points and we have 4 new squares, which is awesome. So let's see what we unlocked. Perfect. So we got elementary school and high school, which we definitely need to place down. And we have some apartment buildings now, which is awesome. I really, you know, you got to be careful early on placing these down. When I first started in like my first couple cities, I was spamming these and then I was like, why aren't they growing? And then you start getting issues. So it's definitely a delicate balance with your demand. You really want to be careful. As you start experiencing that high rent, you want to start, you know, putting in some low rent housing or higher density uses to kind of mitigate that. But it is something that you do want to kind of pay attention to. So I think what we're going to do with this area, we're going to do some more low density housing, and let's have this one cut across as well. And I think we're going to have to turn it because of the rail line, which isn't the worst. So we're going to go like right here. And then what we're going to do is we're actually going to go into continuous and we are going to have it follow the highway a little bit just so that we can get it to look a little bit better. I want it to be parallel to that highway. So if we go just like this, yeah, I think that looks fantastic. So let's turn snapping back on. Now we can hopefully come up here at a 90-degree angle and connect that up. Yeah, look at that. Perfect. Let's have this come down and connect up down here. Yeah, there we go. Fantastic. And so that already looks pretty good. I like that little curve we added in there. Let's fill this with paths real quick. And voila, looks like we're getting a little bit of zoning off of this road as well. We want to make sure that we don't get that. So I think we're going to do a little bit of commercial in here. Let's put them right next to that old mill. I think that would be a nice little feature in there. And then what we're going to do for the rest of it is some low density housing because our demand for that was already kind of creeping up. It already kind of dove down a little bit, but it will creep up once we get this schooling in. So what I'm thinking, I want to put the elementary school right here. And what we're going to do, we are going to have this come in. I want to create about enough space in there to get some parking. So we'll go just like this. And let's see about moving this old cemetery. And I know this would be highly unrealistic, but I think it's just a little bit easier this way. Maybe we'll get rid of that 4-way intersection, turn it into a 3-way. Because I want to get really want to get some parking in here as well. So let's go like that. And then let's move this to the opposite side. Yeah, we'll go just like that. Fantastic. Let's go into our development points and unlock advanced road services as well as parking areas because this is going to be a schooling area. I think we're going to ideally end up putting in some office space in here as well. And so we really would want to make sure that there is enough parking. So let's go ahead and go like this. Let's place another one. I think that's probably pretty good. We don't need to go too crazy with the parking just yet. And so in this game, parking definitely plays a much bigger role. And so you do need to pay attention to it. So we'll go just like that. Fantastic. And let's place our elementary school in here now. So I think we're going to go just like this. And then to future-proof ourselves, I know this is kind of a waste of money right now, but we're going to actually place in the child healthcare clinic and also the extension wings and the playground. I know we're getting kind of crazy. We're going all out on this. And so now that we have that, let's go ahead and have this come up and we're just going to turn that into a little cul-de-sac. And we will have this one come up as well. We want it to be at a 180. We want to be a little bit further away from that intersection. So we'll go like that. Perfect. And so now that we have that, let's go in. We're going to unlock parks here soon. It looks like milestone 4. But let's do our pathways in here. This is really dependent on us unlocking that our parks, which is pretty important. So let's come down here. Let's go all the way across. I think that looks good. And I really want to build a bridge right here because this would be you know, you'd have small kids coming in here, and I feel like it would be pretty important to provide some sort of way for them to get across the road without them having to, you know, endanger their lives. So now that we have that, let's go ahead and go across. 1, 2, 3. Let's see. I think you have to be 6 high. It's either 6 or 5. I can't remember. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Well, we will try 5, and then let's cut across. Let's go ahead and turn back on snapping so that we can get it to connect. Yeah, that looks pretty good. And then that way, what we can do is curve it this way, have it follow the road again. And look at that, milestone 3, unlocked. We are now a large village. And congratulations, things are looking up. Thank you, game. We are at 800,000 simoleons, which is awesome. We have 3 more development points, which is fantastic. And we have 5 more squares, which we haven't even locked any squares yet. We're kind of just keeping that for now. So let's go ahead and curve this down. And I think I'm going to turn off snapping so I can get a little bit better of an angle on that. So we'll go just like this. And then let's go ahead and connect it up like right here, because I want to also connect up this going up. So let's go down to the ground and then connect this up. I know we're demolishing a poor commercial building there, and it doesn't even want me to do that. It's not the end of the world. Looks like we maybe went a little too low. I think that would probably be a danger for that, especially since we're trying to market this for kids. So maybe we're just going a little too low. Maybe we want to go just like that. That's a little bit better. I mean, I would hope that would still be a little bit better than that, but we're just going to leave it for right now. Let's turn back on snapping, get this over here, turn on that angle. I want it to land like literally right here. Yeah, I think that looks good. So if we turn off snapping now, we can get down here. So now we have a nice little crosswalk for our kids. And we have a little pathway access in there for people. There's a little intersection right there. I think this is already looking pretty good. Now we need to expand out a little more. Let's put in our high school over here. I think it would be really cool to kind of get it off of this hillside. I was originally unsure of where to put it, but I think if we were to level it right there, let's get out of this view and put it like literally right here. I think that this would be awesome. So let's place it down and see what it does to the ground. So you know what, it's not too bad. I do think I want to get it a little bit higher though. So let's go ahead and demolish that. And let's actually level out an area for this. So if we come in here, just level out an area kind of up on this hillside. Yeah, like that's probably good. And then we will do this now. Yeah, go just like that. Perfect. And then that way, what we can do is actually build a little road up there. I think this is going to look good. So I think we're going to shift this forward just a smidge, because I want it to be a little bit closer to this road. So if we go just like that and then move this forward, that way what we can do is go into our roads, have it go just like this, and then have it kind of bounce down into this. And then I think we will have this just go straight. Perfect. And then let's actually adjust this a little bit. So I want this road to have a little bit of a wall next to it. And in order to get that, it has to be just like that at first. Yeah, there we go. Oh man, what is it doing? No. All right, so it's going to give us some problems. So if we level that out, go just like that, we should be able to get the wall. And voila, I was able to get it in. I did get a little bit of a bridge here, which I'm not super satisfied with. And voila, I was able to get it in there. I think this looks pretty good. And so now what I'm thinking, we are going to create a little office area in here. We haven't unlocked offices yet, but we are going to very soon. We're going to hit level 4 pretty quick, especially now that we got this in here. I think we're going to do the same thing with the high school that we did with the elementary. We are going to expand it. I don't think we're going to end up using the sports field. This is just huge. And I think a large village wouldn't really spend all the money for that, but I think it would really depend on where you're at. Some schools probably would. We do need to place down our fire and rescue and our police department though. So let's come in here, and I think we're going to do the same thing that we kind of did with the medical clinic. We're going to place it off of this road, and then let's figure out a good spot for our police station. I'm kind of looking up here, thinking that maybe we could do something good. Maybe even over here though. Yeah, I think right there is probably good, because we really don't have a lot of space to do any like sort of expanded commercial areas. So I think that actually works out pretty good. Yeah, I think this is coming together pretty nicely. I like that little area, especially once we get some trees in there. It's going to end up looking pretty good. And so now let's go ahead and check out where we're at. So we have quite a bit of industrial demand, commercial, and residential's kind of creeping up. Let's see about expanding out our industrial demand a little bit. So let's come out here now. Let's go across just like that. And then let's draw in our path so that we don't get zoning off of this road. We already have it off of this. I think we're going to end up adjusting that at some point in the future. So let's go like this. Perfect. You know what? We're gonna backtrack on that. I want this road to be a little bit closer so that we don't get full zoning off of that road. And of course, you got to delete the pathway. Yeah, you know what? This is going to be a lot better because then we can come in here, draw on our little pathway, get our zoning off of this road. Yeah, I think that this is going to be perfect. Go just like that, connect up our little pathway, and then put in our industrial. Unpause, let that kind of creep in. And we can even unlock these squares now. Let's start to unlock a couple of our squares. So if we go just like this, we'll do 4 to start off with. I think that looks pretty good. We're going to eventually end up expanding this way with our residential. There really isn't a whole lot of room this way until you get over here, which I think this is probably going to be much later in our development cycle. I think we're going to expand this way first. But now that we have that, we can build out some more of our industrial. Let's get our road in here first. So let's do our big road. Have this come all the way down. I think we're a little bit on a hill over here too. Yeah, we are. So if we look at the ground, let's kind of check this out. Maybe we should flatten some of it out first. Yeah, so let's flatten out just a little bit of it. I think what we're going to do is create a little bit of a bank for our rail line and then actually have this kind of creep down. We could probably even have this go underneath. I think because it's so close to the water though, I don't know if that would be the ideal location. I think we'll probably just have this road come across. Yeah, and then cross. I think that this, yeah, there you go. Perfect. And then what we can do is grab our little road and I'm just going to draw in a little grid kind of following this across and voila, there we go. So now we can come in here, do our pathways real quick and then place down some of that zoning. Perfect. Let's go ahead and do this one as well. Yeah, there we go. Just so we don't mess with that intersection. I think we will end up doing some industrial in this area, but I don't think it's going to really mess with us as much. Yeah, so if we go like this, perfect. And we do want a little bit of commercial back here too, just to provide some like local shops for people. Maybe we'll do right there. Yeah, I think that that's good. Maybe we could even do like this front little row. Yeah, I think this could be good. So if we do like right there, I think I'm going to go ahead and do a pathway right here though. Let's have a pathway come this way. Fantastic. Let's go ahead and unpause, let all this come in. This should really help our city hit that industrial demand. Yeah, it dropped down quite a bit, which is awesome. Let's check out some of our services to see how we're doing. So if we go into the info panel, we can hit electricity. So we're actually doing pretty good. I mean, we're producing about 10 megawatts. We're using 8.26. So we're going to have to expand that pretty soon. Our water availability is huge. Remember, we did that water pump. So I really don't think we're going to have a problem with that for a while. And so let's see what else we can do. Ooh, we have some abandonment coming in. I think this is probably due to low wealth. That's what I would guess. So this is wealthy. Let's see what these people are. People are doing pretty good. Let's check out our unemployment though, because that's normally when I see abandonment like that. That's what I initially think of. So if we go to population, so unemployment's actually really low. That's interesting. Maybe there's just not enough jobs. That could definitely be it. So let's expand out our commercial areas. Kind of what I was thinking before. We will delete this pathway and then have this come down. Yeah, just like that. Perfect. And then let's actually have this one come across as well. I want it to be at a 90-degree angle though. Just like that. Perfect. And then now what we can do is connect up our lovely pathways. Go just like this and then have a pathway skirt the side of this road so that we can get that full zoning on this side. And then let's have this connect up. And we want this to go both ways. Hopefully we don't need it to cross. Yeah, just like that. Perfect. Nice. And so now we have provided a little bit of access in there, some walkability, especially since this is going to be a commercial area. And then I want to put in a park right there. I think that that would be an awesome little spot for that. And let's do the same thing over here. All right, let's get this in there. I think this is going to look pretty good. Let's go ahead and connect this connection up. Nice. So there we go. We have some awesome zoning in there. We could even do one right here as well. But I think we're going to actually leave some of these empty because we do want to get some trees in there. So for a lot of this, we're just going to come through and kind of sprinkle some trees in. So what I like to do is go into the local forest and kind of see what we have. So we have pines, we have some more pines, we have birch trees. It looks like pine and birch are the predominant trees in the area. So we're going to go into vegetation. We're going to go into pine. We're going to go into the place multiple tree option. And while we were looking at that, we hit milestone 4. Perfect. So we are at the Grand Village. Congratulations. The city is coming along nicely. Thank you, game. We have 1,000,000 simoleons, 4 development points, and 6 new squares. Let's go ahead and check out what we got. So we unlocked policies, which is awesome. The production panel, the district creation tool, which this really helps with like your police departments and your fire departments and stuff to kind of segment the area off so that things can work a little bit better. So we got low rent housing and low density offices, as well as some farming stuff and transportation and parks and rec, which is kind of what we're waiting on. We're not going to be messing around with any of the farming or transportation on this episode. That's what we're going to be doing on the next one. And now that we have low rent housing, of course, we are experiencing rental issues. But let's come in here and do some parks. So I want to do a regular park and I want to do a dog park. Yeah, I think that that's a pretty good little addition. And then we do want to sprinkle in some parks in here. I'm going to put them right next to the pathways or the road because we want them to have access. So we're going to come over here. Let's go ahead and go right there. Let's do the same thing over here. And let's do the same thing over here. Yeah, that looks pretty good. We got some pretty good coverage. We've pretty much covered everything. And then I think we're going to end up coming in here and doing some more zoning as well as some parks. I think maybe putting in some commercial back here would be good. And then maybe we could do some low rent housing. Let's see about placing in some low rent housing in here. I think that this could be good. So we'll do a little road in here. And what we're going to do is do a couple buildings of low rent housing. We're going to come in here. Let's go like this. So I don't want it to come off that backside. What I'm going to do is actually have a path come across. Here, we're going to go just like that. And we're going to come in here and do 5x5 and a 5x5. Perfect. And then that way what we can do is have a nice little park in the middle. I think that would be good. I was actually just going to put a pathway, but I think a park would actually be better. Yeah, look at that. Or the plaza's a little bit big, but I think that that would be a nice little addition for the area. And then that way we can put in some small commercial right here. We'll do little 3x slots. Yeah, I think that looks pretty good. And then we'll do a couple more parks back there. And then I think we're going to do some row housing going the opposite direction this way. Let's connect up our path first. So we're going to have the path come all the way down, go just like that. Let's go ahead and have the path come this way so we can cut that zoning. And then let's have the path come this way as well. Perfect. And then that way we can come in here. Let's do 5x. So we'll do 5x going all the way down this way too. That way we can get it to all kind of look a little bit better. I'm not exactly sure what we're going to do with this space just yet. And I'm not exactly sure what we're going to fill these in with either. I don't think we're going to go ahead and get crazy with that just yet. We may end up putting in some more commercial though. But I think this looks okay. I mean, it's kind of a bit taller of a building for this area. We may end up adjusting this, but I like that it's near the water, and I like that we now have low rent housing, which is awesome. So let's come in here now. And so last but not least, what we're going to do is place in some of our office uses. We're going to come across here, and then we're going to come across here. And I want to do some office space with a couple little plazas on either end. I think that would look good. So if we do a little plaza right there, and then let's come in here and do a little plaza right there, and then go into our offices and kind of just expand this across. I think that that's going to provide a nice little use in there. And then we can connect up our pathways, go just like that. Fantastic. Let's go ahead and connect this one up as well. Perfect. And then we'll come and do some trees, some tree lined areas in there. And then I think we're going to do the same thing over here. So we're just going to put a little bit of office space in there. Not a lot, just something to kind of fill in the space, make it look a little bit better. Because I don't think having offices at schooling areas is like super realistic, but I think maybe because it's like more of a center than just a shopping center, it does work. And it kind of helps to just fill in the space and make it look a little bit better. We do have a little bit more space over here. I'm wondering if maybe we could do another small park over here. So we have the dog park. It's a playground too small. Maybe we'll leave that empty for right now and do something else in the future. We could do some more office space maybe. So if we did this going across, no, it's a little bit broken. Yeah, there you go. Perfect. So we can have this go right there, right next to our little burial ground. And those should grow in as the city expands. We don't need to kind of pressure it right now. And now what I'm going to do is go ahead and jump into a detailing time lapse. I hope you guys enjoy, and I'll catch you guys on the other side. Okay, and here we are. I ended up doing trees going throughout all the neighborhoods, but then I did some more manicured trees for a lot of our areas. So I ended up doing the birches in the front, which you can kind of see they turn orange in the fall, which is really nice. I absolutely love that you have seasons in this game. But then I did bushes going around a lot of the parks, and then I sprinkled in some of the pines as well, since the pines are evergreens and so they don't turn brown. So I did the pines going around our school with some of the birches kind of lining some of the pathways going around with some more of these little bushes, just to kind of clean it up, make it look manicured. I added in a few parks with some bushes going around it, kind of expanded some of our commercial. And there we go, milestone 5 unlocked. We are now officially a tiny town. Great work. This is a major step forward. You are on the way to greatness. Thank you, game. We have gotten 1.2 million simoleons, 5 development points, and 7 new squares. So let's look at what we have unlocked for the next episodes. We got mixed housing, which is awesome. Some more farming. We've got our communications towers, which are like our cell phone towers, and our mailboxes stuff, post office, a bunch of services. So we really have a lot to unpack on the next episode. But going back to what I was doing, so I added in some parks, a bunch of trees, and overall I think it looks really good. I like the start of our city. I think this is going to be a fantastic addition. And so again, if anybody has any awesome names, go ahead and let me know down below. The only criteria is I just want it named after a real city. And so I hope you guys enjoyed the episode. If you did, go ahead and check out the video on your screen, and I will catch you guys on the next one. Thank you so much.